Viewer discretion is advised.
Don and Jay were standing next to an old barrel. They were deciding on a bet. You seriously gonna do it? I mean, why not? Probably because that stuff is most likely expired by now. Jesus, just look at how moldy the barrel is. What's the worst that can happen? Me getting an upset stomach? I can take it. Plus, $50 is $50. The deal is still on, right? Ugh, whatever. And just in case your stomach melts or you die of food poisoning, I'm not responsible, yeah? Yeah, whatever. Just let me get my head wrapped around this real quick. Don took a few deep breaths and opened the top of the aged barrel filled with treacle. Okay, here I go. Get that fat wallet out and get ready to pay up. He smirked at his friend and plunged his hand into the dark, viscous liquid. Victory is now mine, he said triumphantly, but soon found himself unable to pull his hand out of the barrel. I didn't think it would be this sticky. I think I feel some lumps. Suddenly, his arm was yanked into the barrel, all the way up to his shoulder. Holy hell, help me! There's something in here, Don shouted to his friend with a mixture of panic and confusion. Jay grabbed his friend from behind and pulled back as hard as he could, but it was like trying to move a boulder. From beneath the dark pool, multiple little syrupy goblin-like creatures rose to the surface. Unable to react at all, a dozen or so of these monsters held firmly onto Don from within the barrel. The others climbed all over him. Scared, Jay pulled himself away from Don immediately. Don's scream turned into muffled cries as one of the monsters forced his mouth open and slithered down his throat. The little creatures chuckled and sank back into the treacle. Cowering on the ground, Jay called out to Don. Hey, are you okay? Instead of responding, Don's body began jerking violently, as though he was dancing completely without rhythm. Jay could see Don's veins slowly growing darker and darker. Whatever that thing was, it was clearly doing something to his blood. Feeling hopeless, Jay ran away while apologizing profusely. Don was left behind, helpless as his body is now under complete control of a foreign entity. He was completely aware of what was happening, but unable to do anything to stop it. Hello everybody, I'm TheRubber. Today we bring you SCP Foundation SAFE Class Object SCP-3077. SCP-3077, also known as Sugar Golem, consists of around 600 gallons of treacle, or a type of syrup to be specific. It is incredibly dark in color, viscous, and currently stored in cryogenically frozen barrels by the Foundation. If 3077 is not cryogenically frozen, the substance will become extremely active and break off into multiple copies of black sugar golems. These creatures are given the designation SCP-3077-1. 3077-1 instances typically possess orifices on the head to approximate facial features. However, the size, shape, position, and number of these orifices vary between instances. They are often deformed in some manner. Common deformities include collapsed skulls and disproportionate body parts, with nearly a third of all instances being conjoined at various points of the body. They are incredibly weak, as anyone is capable of fending off attacks from 3077-1 by simply pushing or kicking their little bodies aside without much trouble. However, their sheer numbers make up for their weakness. They are also incredibly durable. After being violently destroyed, they can reconstitute themselves easily while producing multiple new copies. They will then continue attacking relentlessly until their victim tires out. Then 3077-1's disturbing routine begins. An instance of 3077-1 will shove its way down its victim's throat, extending dark treacle tendrils into the veins throughout the victim's head and body as it overrides the nervous system of its new host. The host is completely aware and conscious during the entire agonizing process while having no control over their body. The hosts are given the designation 3077-2. Instances of 3077-2 will then seek out humans. Once it has done so, it will begin a terrible show that consists of singing and dancing. This will continue until there is no longer any human audience present or until the host expires. After receiving an anonymous phone call indicating the presence of Herman Fuller's Circus of the Disquieting in Indiana, the Foundation dispatched MTF Kappa 14 to investigate. The task force arrived at the scene. only to find piles of dead bodies burnt to crisps. A pile of charred bodies. At a freaking circus. Christ, why can't our missions ever be remotely normal? This is why we get paid big bucks, Ramirez. Besides, with everyone dead, we can sweep the place to find our target or any survivors without much issue. Ugh. Wait a second, that body just moved. The two agents ran to a nearby tent where a woman was perched up against it. She was bound, gagged, and blindfolded. The agents quickly released her. She grabbed her head slowly and complained of a headache. She was designated as POI 3077-1. Miss, are you all right? Do you know what happened here? Lieutenant Ramirez looked back at the giant pile of bodies before turning back to the battered woman. She appeared distant and indifferent towards the commander's questions and the devastation around her. Did you do all this? You did, didn't you? I'm sorry, sweetheart, but you're gonna pay for this. The lieutenant cocked his pistol and aimed it at the woman. Commander Rice stepped in immediately to stop him. Stand down, Lieutenant. We don't do summary executions here, especially when we're not even sure if she's done anything yet. You didn't kill these people, right? The lieutenant flipped the gun's safety back on and holstered it reluctantly. Rye turned towards the woman and asked, still, the question remains, did you kill these people? Who are you and what were you doing here? POI 3077-1 calmly confessed that she worked for the circus as a magical candy maker. She had proposed an idea to her higher-ups, namely Icky the Magic Clown and Manny, the man with the upside-down face. She told them her idea of creating a bunch of little golems made of treacle. These jolly little creatures would dance and sing and entertain crowds. The idea was well received, and so resources were put into the act. She succeeded in creating the golems. But as soon as they were revealed to the crowd, they were found to be too deformed to sing or dance, a failed creation too broken to live up to their creator's divine visions. Icky then decided to have them perform acrobatics and gymnastic routines instead, since they were small and slippery. They even thought of incorporating dark slapstick humor in their performances, since the golems could be torn apart and put back together easily. Although it had strayed from her original vision, POI 3077-1 followed through. Everything progressed smoothly afterwards. Eventually, it was the opening night. The golems were rebranded and introduced as Saccharina Sweet's Sensationally Sublime Sugar Babies. The golems stepped onto the stage, spotlight on them, but they wouldn't perform. They just sat there, staring at the audience. Then all hell broke loose. They scattered into the crowd. Bearing their evil grins, they leapt into the audience's mouths and forced themselves down their throats. Within seconds, these people were being controlled from the inside like meat puppets. No, this wasn't what I had in mind. No! The creator of the golems fell to her knees, trembling in fear. The ones who broke free of the golems' clutches fled in terror. And the ones that were conquered, well, they stayed and used their newfound bodies to sing and dance for their creator, just like she had always wanted them to. Facing the chaos in front of her, Icky grew furious. In a fit of rage, she stormed towards POI 3077-1 and lifted her up by the throat, branding her a traitor. She fainted from Icky's strong grip shortly after. POI 3077-1 later woke up to a massive headache and a monsterized crowd. When they noticed their creator had risen, the golems croaked with joy and began singing and dancing for her. They seemed to be asking her, "Are you proud of us? Isn't this what you wanted us to do? Look, we're singing and dancing for you." She couldn't find her words. Her limbs felt like they were being weighted down with layers of molasses. She was frozen in fear. She could see the eyes of the people there. She could tell they wanted it to end. They wanted to die. This is hell, she thought. To be taken against your will, to be forced to sing and dance until your body breaks, to live as a puppet. The people in front of her, controlled by her very own twisted creations, sang and danced as their faces screamed agony. These are not the faces I wanted to see. Tears began rolling down her cheeks as she grew more determined. I'll burn them. I'll burn them all. And so the circus burned down along with the audience. Their screams grew as loud as the intense crackling of the raging flames until gradually dying down. What remained of the golems were locked away in some old barrels. Even now, as she stands amidst the burnt ruins of the circus, she can still hear her golem's fleeting voices, asking her, "Why, Mommy, why? Are you not happy? Are you not satisfied? We sang and danced for you, Mommy. Please don't lock us away." She had since developed a fear of the smell of burnt sugar. Remember to check out my new animation channel, TheRubber Talks, where I share my life story, thoughts, and opinions. Just click on the link in the description to enter TheRubber's world. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Which SCP do you want to see in the next video and why it is interesting? Let us know in the comment below. We will draw your story and share it with the world. Don't forget to click like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell. Please share it to your friends if you like this video. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.